Good morning, everybody. I am delighted to be here this morning. It has been a little while since I gave a briefing to the mini commission, but I have to tell you it feels very good to be home. And I will make time to answer your questions and also make time to introduce you to my daughter, Miranda, who has joined us as well. So has Director Newland already spoken? Where is Director Newland? Is she not here yet? Okay. And I think you have already had the opportunity to meet and hear from one of our Ward 4 workers, Keyshawn Harris, who's here. Jasmine Banab is also here, who's long-time staff support for us here in Ward 4. And I also want to recognize Councilmember Todd and his staff for their great efforts to focus on the things that we need here in Ward 4. So over the years, of course, we have worked to transform our city to a city that is age-friendly and livable for residents of all ages. As a council member and now as mayor, I have prioritized initiatives that support the creation of affordable housing, combat social isolation, and increase access to safe and affordable transportation options, which is so key to the work that we need to do to move our city forward. And during our first 4 years in office, we were able to take your feedback and invest in programs that have supported thousands of seniors across Washington, D.C. Together, we launched and expanded our Safe at Home program, and I hope you know all about that. Is making more than 2,000 homes safer through home adaptations and the installation of private security cameras. We also built and cut the ribbon on Plaza West, the district's first housing development specifically designed for grandparents raising grandchildren. We also broke ground at Abrams Hall, which are senior apartments on the campus of the former Walter Reed Army Medical Center, something that I think everybody in this room advocated for during our planning for Walter Reed. We have also cut in half the amount that property taxes can go up each year for seniors. You know that we already have many special senior property tax programs, including the senior property tax that cuts your payment in half. And we went one step further to make sure that the increase on your bill can only go up 5% instead of 10%, which is what it is for non-senior residents. We also invested nearly $17 million in our senior wellness centers that will expand 2 centers and build a new center and make interior improvements to others. Certainly, we have been proud of the investments made in the Hattie Home Senior Wellness Center, and it's also our challenge to make sure that the programming and services meet your needs. We have invested in senior villages, including the one here in Ward 4, and launched the Transport DC program, which subsidizes taxi rides to make getting around the city more affordable for you. But we know our work is not done. We have been named a age-friendly city by the World Health Organization. We're proud of that because that study went across DC agencies. And when I renamed our Office on Aging the Department of Aging, that was really one thing that we focused on, is making sure that every agency in DC government knows that they have a responsibility for senior living, not just the Office on Aging, now the Department of Aging. And the age-friendly framework really put that into focus, making sure that when we're talking about transportation, when we're talking about education, when we're talking about jobs and housing, we always have a lens for our senior residents. So we know that we continue to have challenges, however, and I put 2 things on the top of the list when we're talking about how to make DC more age-friendly, and housing affordability, I know, is on the minds of everybody. everybody. And we have done a lot in terms of production and preservation and property taxes. And we have work to do, and I hope to be able to announce some investments that we're making to make affordability for our senior renters a top priority as we move forward, because we have not figured out the secret equation to make sure that we are making senior renting more affordable in the district. And so stay tuned, and I look forward to making some comments about that soon. We also are looking at utility payments and all the other things that we know hit your bottom line each and every month and each and every day. And that's part of the work that we have to do. Just yesterday, I know many of you have followed the Emory Fellowship's progress. And we were able to cut the ribbon on a transformational development at the Emory Fellowship just yesterday. There will be 99 units of all affordable housing, some for people exiting homelessness, some for people who need permanent supportive housing, that they need the human services that go with the affordable housing, and the Emory Fellowship sanctuary redone is back in business. So with that, that's a brief update of what we've been working on. I want to invite you all to join us, I guess now for my 5th State of the District this Monday coming. We will be at the University of the District of Columbia. That starts off a very important week for us because I will be delivering my budget to the Council of the District of Columbia. It will be our 24th consecutive balanced budget in the District of Columbia. I will present it to the Council on Wednesday and again on Friday in public session. And then the Council starts its series of public hearings to get your feedback on our budget proposal. We have done our level best to make sure it is a budget that represents our values. And we're actually finishing it up this week, getting ready to send it to the council. The council has like 55 days to work on it, and by June or July, we'll be voting on our final budget. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Q&A.
Madam Chair. All right. Thank you very much, Mayor Bowser. Are there any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you please stand and give your name, please?
Johnson from Ward 4. And my question really is, not to get too controversial, but do you all have a plan B for the hospital issue deal as it pertains to Washington Hospital Center? Just went through a cold, I was like a person that kind of calmed a girlfriend of mine who had a very sick husband. She thought he was going to pass and all this, and then ended up going to Hospital Center. With the closing of Providence, it was unbelievable. It was really DC General in Ward 4. It was, I could tell you offline all of the bad things. But if, in fact, it doesn't end up being a success story with Providence closing, and you all see that they don't have enough staff, they don't have enough doctors, they're not big enough to handle the influx of emergencies and crazy that's going over there now. What are you going to do for Plan B? Because when Providence totally closes and everything is over there, I just kind of saw,
Well, there is not just Hospital Center that we have in our network. And part of our charge now is to make sure that our emergency calls are not just going to Hospital Center, but they're going to Howard, they're going to GW, they're going to Georgetown, and they're going to Sibley. Because there is, and we know the number of trips to Providence that shifted, and we know that they could be better dispersed. So we're going to continue monitoring with the fire department how to disperse those trips. We're also going to continue to work with our communities to make sure that they're going to the emergency room for emergencies, okay? Because we know, and we even know about the trips that were going to Providence, many of them they call ambulatory trips. People walked in, and these are trips that could be made to a primary care physician or urgent care facility, and not the emergency room. So we have a couple of things that we have to do. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Once the person gets there, they got to get help. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Is there another question? Minister Chi?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I don't have a question. I wanted to give you, I submitted the information to you the right way to your office for invitation to our Women's Day on Saturday. So I hope you'll be there.
Okay.
And it's no charge to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Mayor Bowser, I would like to introduce you to our elected officers for
Yes,
the Mini
ma'am.
Commission. We've been doing this for 1 year now, and we have Minister Chi, who is our correspondence secretary. Mary Sanford is the vice chair, and Commissioner McCoy is the treasurer.
Yes.
And
whom I
Carolyn
know
Dia
all of. Yes.
is the secretary, and I am Veronica Ingram. I'm the chairperson.
Thank you, Madam
So
Chair.
we've been doing this for 1 year, and we've made a lot of accomplishments. I may not have time to share all of these accomplishments with you today, but our goal is to reach out to the entire Ward 4 senior community. And we started out with approximately 45 people attending the commission meetings, and now we have 169
Awesome.
in 1 year. And we have an incredible amount of accomplishments, even down to the point that we have a possible logo for the Mini Commission Award.
Okay.
That's who we are. We have formed committees, and our main issues are affordable housing and homelessness. I've heard you speak on homelessness, and you made a statement that I would like to talk to you about. You said that we should be able to get all of the homeless people off the street.
Yes.
And I would like to know more about your ideas on that later on. But then our second issue is elder abuse and fraud and guardianship. And we have a committee on that. We have the committee on housing. We have a committee on membership because we're trying to grow the membership. We need to be able to support the council down at the Wilson Building.
Yes.
And then we have the other, escalating utilities is our third committee that we formed. And we have a lot of other issues, Providence Hospital, these things that pop up, mental health, and we know that everything is connected. And so it goes back down to our young, from the old to the young, and we have ideas about that too. So
Okay.
we're moving along.
Okay.
And
And I just want
that's
to
who
say,
we are at here in Ward 4 right now.
Okay.
And Councilmember Todd and Director Newland, I always call her Laura, so I have to think.
That's fine.
Director Newland, they have been superb in supporting us.
Thank you.
And doing everything they possibly can. Yeah. Okay, now.
So, Madam Chair, thank you for that introduction. So it sounds like the commission took a break and you restarted last year. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
what you said? Okay.
it wasn't a break.
Okay.
They continued to meet, but it was what do you call it? They had a certain way of, what is the name for it? They would meet and they would invite guests from the various government agencies.
Okay.
Ask questions, eat lunch, and that was it.
Okay.
So now we're trying to have a bigger voice and to be heard and to be organized.
Okay, I got it.
And to be informed and have informed. Yeah.
I got it.
Okay,
No, I understand.
Right.
So I understand the organizational shift is on working subcommittees that have a very specific agenda. And that agenda, I dare say, Madam Chair, is well aligned to the areas that we have been working on. And so let me just say a couple things about homelessness, about the things that you mentioned. I'll start with, we have been embarked on a 5-year plan so far to invest in ending chronic homelessness in our city. Our chief goal for the first term was closing DC General and opening 8 short-term family housing facilities around the city. So every ward in the city would be a part of our family homelessness solution. I'm very proud that we were able to close DC General, which was substandard and not serving our young people and young families well. And we have 3 of the 6 short-term family housing facilities now open, and we will open the remainder in the next 2 years. We're also very focused now on our singles population, and our biggest investment right now in the singles population is replacing what we call 801 East, which is one of our largest men's facilities, and it's on the campus of St. Elizabeth's. And it is woefully in need of renovation. So we will completely tear it down and restore it and rebuild it on the campus of St. Elizabeth's. And I know, and I am also very concerned about what we call the unsheltered, people who are out on the street. And I will tell you, and people never believe me when I say this, but we have shelter space for every person who's on the street. Okay, we have space, and we can get them in. We can get them help. And we can work on any issues that prevent them from being permanently housed. We can't make people come in, however, except in very extreme weather. And we have had to make people come in very extreme weather. But we know just about everybody who you might see on the street has been contacted by one of our human services workers. We know about them. In some cases, they have housing vouchers, and we have to work with them to get them inside. So we will continue to do that. The financial fraud and abuse is something that we should all be concerned about. There are too many people that prey on people of all ages. But they particularly will sometimes try to target, and they can be very clever. And so what no one should be is scared, afraid, ashamed to call and ask for help. Okay, because there are people who spend their whole days trying to figure out how to scam people. And so in the Office of the Attorney General, we have worked to get some additional help to make sure we have lawyers and prevention efforts for people who are doing this. But you'll see all of we're the police district. We have our wonderful police officers around the room. They are here to help. So never waver on contacting the police if you think that somebody has tried to take advantage of you or has taken advantage of you. You may think you have the worst case they've ever heard. You don't, okay? So you just don't. And I know how bad it is. My parents were a victim of a crime like this some years ago, and I just know how maddening it is for somebody to try to take advantage of you, all right? So don't think that you have the worst case because you don't. And so we want to continue to do that. And so those are some of the utility bills. You mentioned the water bills in particular we're concerned about. You do know, of course, we have a program that's administered by the Department of the Environment that focuses on how for everyone who qualifies. Oh, he can sit there. He doesn't have to come up here. Yeah. All right. So, Madam Chair, if you don't mind, would you mind if I introduce our special guest? Okay. I just wanted to reintroduce to everybody one of our Ward 4 residents who lived for many years at the Vita, and she is having a special birthday celebration. And you may recall a few years ago, she had a special birthday celebration with President Obama and Mrs. Obama in the Oval Office, which we were all just thrilled about. I got a chance to meet Miss Virginia then at Vita, a senior housing located right here on Missouri Avenue, just down the street. And then I heard over the internet that Miss Virginia wanted to meet Miss Miranda. And I thought it would be very nice if we all gave Miss Virginia a happy birthday from the Ward 4 Mini Commission. So why don't we ask Miss Virginia to come over by the cake, and we're going to move the cake. Perfect. Okay.
Can you move it? Jackie, can you put it? Excuse me.
She is adorable, like a little baby.
Put it in the center. Do. Can you?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miss Virginia. Happy birthday to you. And may you So we are just, one thing that I learned each and every year is that the Department on Aging hosts a centenarians
Excuse me.
luncheon. And the number of centenarians at that luncheon grows each and every year.
Excuse me.
So you know what that means for all of us. Let's take our minds. So we can live long and prosper like Miss Virginia. Amen. Amen. Give us one secret.
Live for the Lord, the best I know. Hi.
That sounds like live for the Lord. All right. Let's go.
Man.
All right. So we're going to get to the cake. And then whatever other questions you have, Madam Chair. Okay. Thanks, Mr. Virginia. Let's give Ms. Virginia. All right.
Okay, Miss Virginia, will you blow the candles?
Oh, okay.
Did you make your wish? You already said that wish just now.
Oh. All right. That's good. Yes.
Excuse me.
Hey, all right.
I direct the foster grandparent program. Oh, I'm her role in foster grandparents. So we're just so happy.
Okay, Miss Virginia, look that way.
Right here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Got it, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, can we have one?
Yes.
Perfect. Everybody right here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Beautiful. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank